quick escape for the gays.
Hey! It's one of the national heroes of Kosovo, Skanderbeg, which is what the square is named after as well. Interesting because Kosovo became its own country in 2008, but it's ethnically Albanian and historically it was part of Albania, but then it got annexed and it became part of Serbia, and then a mix of Albanians and Serbians ethnically living in Kosovo, or what became of Kosovo. And so when they wanted to gain independence, it couldn't go back to Albania, and then it couldn't become part of, still stay part of Serbia, so it just became its own country. We are in the heart of the old town of Pristina, and this mosque right here, the King's Mosque, has been here since the Ottomans' time. Very pretty. Now we're going into the Grand Bazaar with its wild cobblestone streets, tons of busy traffic.
People socializing.
Socialize a lot, actually. Look at this, what a life. And then meat hanging from the butcher shop and different things to buy all around. This house here is a really good example of 18th to 19th century Ottoman architecture. There's also a museum. So nice, you can buy all type of pumpkins, fruits and veggies at the Grand Bazaar. So atmospheric with the music.
Wanna buy some peppers?
I want to dance.
You wanna buy some peppers?
Oh.
You wanna buy some peppers?
No, I'm okay.
How many peppers?
Cauliflower for 5 cents. Are you kidding? 50 cents? Oh wait, 50 cents. 50 cents for tomatoes. Everything here is so cheap. €1 for that whole bag of onion. Got yummy ice cream and destroying the big main pedestrian walkway. Such a lovely night.
There's so many paintings on the wall.
This cathedral right here is actually quite new. It's only been 3 years and it's dedicated to Mother Teresa. This building right here is where the locals joke that this is a Yugoslavian spaceship, and it certainly looks like it, but it actually is the National University Library. So I'm actually on the university campus right now, and this is one of the most coolest architecture, I would say, in the city, but it's very debatable and up for preference because it is brutalist architecture, as you can see, but it's inspired by honeycombs, and I think it's just like a really unique piece of architecture. And it's interesting because we have this piece here, but then just right here is a Serbian Orthodox church, and it's actually a really good story and a peek into the past of Kosovo with this church. So this church, the thing is that it was built in 1992 and it's actually not completed yet. Let's go a little bit closer to take a closer look at it. So it was built in 1992 during the rise of violence and just disruption in the country and in this area. And the thing is that during this time it was built by the Serbian regime here, and a lot of professors and students were, you know, facing violence. They were either getting kicked out of the university or getting fired, and people were not, you know, it was not a pleasant time in the history of the country. A lot of people were starving, there was riots on the streets, and the Serbian regime built this to showcase that they can do anything during this time, even though there was no plans, it was against the law to have it here as well. But then they kind of left it abandoned when war broke out. And so now after the war, people really want to break it and tear it down, but the thing is that there's still a Serbian community in Kosovo and in Pristina, and so with that cross there, since there's a cross now, they can't really break it down and start over, because technically it's still a place of spirituality and holiness. So instead, now they're thinking about maybe perhaps changing it into a different part of the university, or becoming an auditorium, or reusing that space in any way. So it's really cool to see the contrast of this and this side by side. All these beautiful colors of the trees. Oh, and more. It's like a burst of red everywhere. Look at that. In the square, there's these really beautiful, well-designed seating areas that revolve around leaves as well. And now, after exploring Pristina, we are ready for some local traditional lunch. Alright, I just want to appreciate this fairy tale-like aesthetic of Liberina, which is this restaurant that we are at right now. Okay, can I just point out the traditional peppers hung from with garlic, bird cages, and this wood oven in the background, and this medieval type chandelier, and this Dutch guy right here. Okay, he's not the local, but everything else. Ooh, what do you have there?
One of the traditional drinks in this part of the world. Yogurt.
Okay.
And I think it's with water and salt that I read.
Is it thick consistency?
No. It's more like caramel, or like the other white drink we had the other day.
Okay, so Jeroen is having paje, which is a traditional Kosovovian soup, otherwise known as also gravy. What's that?
Meat.
Oh. And right here I have a traditional lamb soup. So you can see there's cauliflowers, there's eggplant, some zucchini, and then of course lamb and peppers in it. And some freshly baked bread to dip into our soup. Grade A lamb soup. Almost like a stew if it was thicker, but what makes it a soup is just much more liquidy. But it's very hearty and perfect for a Kosovo winter, summer, any type of season. Ooh, look at this beautiful giant piece of flatbread. Okay, are you moving it on your plate?
Yes.
Let's see. You're just gonna pop it. Oh, you just smell the scent that's coming out of it. I smell like such tomatoey, beefy, lots of herbs. Wow, look at all that.
Too hot.
As usual. And then we have this Kosovoan dish here. A grail of lamb alongside potatoes and homemade noodles. Wow. Coming straight out from the oven. I'm all about lamb, but this just comes straight off of the bone. Look at this. You see the sheet of the bones right here? But the meat just tenderly just like slides right off. Alright, so we made it all the way cross country, and it doesn't mean that much because Kosovo is quite small of a country, but it was still, how long was the drive, was it?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half drive from Pristina to Prizren. Prizren. So what do you think of Prizren so far?
It's very quaint, very cute.
Yeah, very charming. So, well, Pristina may be the economic, bustling seat of government capital of the country. Prizren here is the cultural capital of the country. And you can see why we're walking along the riverside banks of these cobblestone streets. Right beside there's these little cute houses and cafes alongside the mountains. It's very beautiful so far. Ooh, and that's the old stone bridge that connects both sides of the town.
You can see every pretty side.
Yeah. I also love these knits for the trees. So cute. We've entered Shatervan, which is the historic neighborhood of the city, and it is so picturesque. I know I keep saying that, but truly, I feel like I've stepped inside some type of fairy tale here. Look at this. People, it's like really early in the morning, people are out and about, sitting in cafes. Got freshly grilled kebabs here, some meatballs, some just more grilled meat, fresh loaves of bread from the oven, and then of course slices of cabbage and carrots. Unlike most riverside restaurants and cafes here, there's nothing pretentious about Taste. Literally, it started off as, from its humble beginnings, as a little vendor where they just grilled up little kebabs like this on the side of the street until it kept on growing and growing from the 60s into the establishment that it is now, but has just kept all its original recipes and everything. Wow, that's juicy. It just melts in your mouth. And the food here is just good old classic Kosovian bread, of course. The ancient hammam. The hike up here took my breath away because it was such a quite steep hike. Let me breathe for a second. Alright, but made it to the top of Prizren Castle. As you can see, this is the place to get the best view of this beautiful city. So, you can see that's where we were. We crossed the old stone bridge right there, and that's the river that runs through the city. That's one of the most important mosque here, and that was the neighborhood that we were just in, right, actually. But this is the city itself. You can see the mountains in the background. Another mosque. I love how all the roof tiles are the same burnt orange color.
It's a quick escape for the gays.
Hey! We're wrapping up our Kosovo trip now with this town and our stopover back to the border. But this town is called Gjakova. Gjakova used to be a very important trading town back 500 years ago, especially during the Ottoman Empire. But now what's left over is this really great big bazaar that's the biggest of the country. This is Haddam's mosque, which is the most culturally significant mosque in the city. It was constructed in 1594, and then since then it created kind of this boom of growth for the city. Then it's also a symbol, Gjakova. And that's a wrap on our Kosovo and Balkan adventures. I hope you had fun coming along with us, but don't go anywhere just yet. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, leave us a comment below, and give this video a like because there's more adventures in the next video.